Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, these seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. And you know who you are, especially those third degree chosen ones. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am celestial earth, known as akilahtextri, in this divine energy essence of it all. As usual, reporting to you live from none other than the fifth dimension, 5D. Welcome in. If you are already here, please stand up. My real 5D, will you please stand up? And as usual, I bring you the news to infuse, if you so choose to, infuse with this light on the light grid. And if not, that's okay too, but just be prepared to be fried on the light grid when things don't match up, when you hit the grid, right? So with that said, I am celebrating the 900 of subscribers. So we are almost there, where we're going to be able to live it up and have live interaction. So almost there, 100 more to go, 100, and we've been moving it along quickly. So thank you all, those of you who are subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting, pushing the algorithms to get us to our 1,000 mark. Once we get there, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna be pushing y'all no more. Like, come on, get us there. I mean, if it grows, it shows, and who knows. But my main goal was to get it to 1,000 so we can start having live interactions. I'm paying more attention to this part of my social media. So with that said, let's see if we get any house sweeping out of the way. What needs, I found 3 people floating in spam. So I wanted to say this: if you send me anything for the calendar, or for in regards to being one of the Mars-Uranus parallels, and you don't hear from me in like a day or 2, make a comment in one of the recent videos. Like whatever the last video is, go in and make and comment and say, hey, I sent you a message, look out, or so I can know to go in spam, because I don't always, I'm not a spam checker. I don't always go in spam. So it took me a while to literally, one person I found that was there from like maybe a week ago, maybe 2, almost 2 weeks. So please, if you don't hear from me, do that so I can know to go and look for you. Y'all know I'm working out this whole technology thing, and I'm not that technologically tech savvy, right? I always say I need a techie because I'm not that techie. So with that, is there any other housekeeping? If you didn't do so already, please remember, if you made it this far just in the beginning, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. If you dare, put a little emojis in there, whatever makes you comfortable, to help us keep it going and growing. And we gonna all be up in here, showing what we knowing. So with that said, I want to specifically talk to you about this parallel. I noticed that, especially going through today, like today I was in front of the computer all day. As I just said, I'm not tech savvy, so it takes me, it's like an all day process just to go through and find people. Like I was literally looking like who's in spam. I had to comb through spam, getting the messages I need to get, looking through the charts. Some of you who have sent your natal charts, thank you, so that I can see, okay, this is where this is. And it was helpful in even seeing more that is added on to this message about the natal charts, which is why I want to break it down to us a little bit more about this Mars-Uranus parallel. So it really expanded, by me seeing the different charts, it kind of expanded the view. And that's why we held up the meeting. Like I had to put it off because Spirit was like, no, hold off, because not only was there some more insight coming in just through seeing these charts, but there were also others who were answering the call a little bit more today. There were more people that are seeing and saying, oh, okay, I need to. So I'm giving it some space and time, and just listening out for spirit. When spirit says go, you know, you'll get the message. Those of you who sent in your email, I will send you all one group email, and we'll be ready to go with the next step from that. And that's just for this soul group is what I'm seeing. There are other soul groups within this entire soul tribe, like those of you who we consider, you know, you come here like it's family. Like we're all one big family, but there are kind of different branches within the family, if you can look at it like that. So this is just this particular branch that's working with these angles of light. It's not an exclusion. I don't like, you know, the term. I don't want anyone to feel it's not about what I want. So let me not say what I want, but it's not about exclusion or, you know, being out of it. It's levels of inclusivity in this regards. And some people may be fully aligned, some may be partially aligned, and some may just not be aligned with this particular assignment, so to speak, with these angles of light. But that's just for right now. There's always a different energetic wheel that is spinning for people to align to. So with that said, I want to talk to us definitely about the sun, how the sun in Leo is activating the Mars and Uranus parallels that some of you have been hearing me talk about. And you know, some of you are like, I don't know what to look at. So also while I'm explaining it, it's also going to make it a little bit more simple in what to look for in your chart, to know just simply, if you see that, you know, okay, I'm either partially aligned or I am fully aligned. So let me explain a little bit of what is happening with the light. I'm going to give as much as I can right now, because some of the in-depth stuff has to be given specifically. Some instructions have to be given specifically to that group. What it is with the sun being in Leo, as it entered into Leo, it activated certain light codes. For those of you who remember angles of light, if you haven't gotten an opportunity, go back and look at angles of light, the video I did on angles of light. Angels of light are angles of light. So we're getting, and these are how we get messages, right? And so we're getting these angles of light right now that they're hitting at this particular time for this particular reason. And it has to do with affecting the Mars, something that is spinning off of the Mars and Uranus conjunction, which was at 26 degrees. 2 and 6 is 8. So this 8 also has a connection, not just with our universal year 8, but the 8-8 Lion's Gate. So leading up to the 8-8 Lion's Gate, and we're in the 8-8 Lion's Gate right now. So there's definitely some energy being activated for those who have, for those who are already being activated by the sun in Leo, paralleling that Mars and Uranus that Mars and Uranus energy in their natal chart. Right? And for those who saw when I did the video about, you may also want to watch the video about the Mars and Uranus conjunction, where I'm speaking of what that conjunction entails and kind of understanding what the Mars and Uranus energy is. Like, very simply put, the Mars energy is taking initiative, right? So it's that initiative, it's that passionate initiative, and Uranus is the change. It's the radical change. It is that revolutionary change. It's that Oya energy. So Mars plus Uranus equals passionate initiative plus radical change or revolutionary change. So that is a combination right there that is being fueled by the fire of the sun in Leo, which the fire also means moving forward in a forward direction. So we're getting a thrust forward. So this is just to kind of give a little background about what's been playing out basically from the conjunction. And as I said in another video, it's stemming from the conjunction, and it had like a meeting point on the 26th at the point of when the Lion's Gate opened, also the Galactic New Year. It's like that was the meeting point, or the point where you pass the baton, and it's taking it on further now. even deeper onto the 8-8, the peak, which is the 8-8 Lionsgate. And all of this has to do with making major moves to unlock the infinite lock, right? For the infinite lock, the karmic loop. Let me put it that way. The lock of the karmic infinite loop, which is, as I explained, the underworld of our infinite existence, the evolved loop that we have. Because either way, we're on this infinite existence wheel type of thing. But some of us can't see our infinite existence, or we're blocked because we're locked by the underworld of our karmic infinite loop, whatever that is for us, whether in this lifetime or past or both. I'm going to say for most of us, it's both. Because if you're having the issue in this lifetime, it's definitely coming from the past life. Some things that have not been addressed or found out. You haven't found a pattern in your karmic work to find out what it is, right? And now is a time, especially because of Neptune coming out of graduating and coming out of Pisces, the house of karma, where currently Saturn, the Lord of karma, is over there doing checks and balance all this time, correcting every darn body, highlighting and exposing every darn body. So it's like a real karmic window. And that karmic window, I believe, it's closing little by little stages. As long as Saturn is in there right now, it's going to be open, but it's closing in certain stages. So with that said, brings me to what are we looking at with these angles of light? What is it saying? I'm explaining to us what the Leo light is activating. So consider that Sun in Leo is like the Kickstarter, the fire. Start up, crank up the engine, right? And the moon, how it's parallel. Well, before I get into the parallels, I feel like there's something else I need to explain, meaning the levels of how this energy looks, meaning what is holding chords. That's another thing I was seeing today. You're looking at what is holding the chord. It's almost like these energies, these angles of light that are coming through. As they come through, they're playing a chord. And then that chord that's being held is still what's resonating forward. So if I could make an example of that, it would look like, let's look at where we were from January with the Merhurta frequencies, and when Pluto and the Sun went into Aquarius at the same time. That all happened within 1 week. A very powerful, energetic week, especially with the Merhurta frequencies. That alone was super potent. So with those energies, it's like, so pretend you play the chord for that. Whether it's a piano or a guitar. I'm kind of seeing a guitar, so I'm gonna go with the guitar. So you hold the chord for that. So while the rest is playing, you have your finger on that chord. Then fast forward a little bit, we get to the ecliptic window in March, end of March, beginning of April, when we had the lunar and the solar eclipse, right? And that was a major, it was a total solar eclipse. So that was major. Both of them were major. So then you have another chord that plays. So you have your finger on the chord for January. Then you have your finger on the chord for the eclipse. So now those chords are being held down. So the resonance from both of those are coming forward as you continue to play. You're strumming, but as you're playing, you're going to get these chords that are held down, right? And as you continue going on, we reach to what was the other major conjunction? There was a conjunction in August. It was the Jupiter, I believe it was a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that was really shaking things up around that time in May. It was the foundation that was shaken up. Expansion on the shaking up, on the breaking up of the foundations. That was another major shift. So that held a chord. Boom. So those are 3 chords being held, and we're just still playing, right? So just kind of giving you the layers. Faithfully is sticking with me. And then as we move on, we get another chord struck. Boom. So that's like 4 chords struck, which is the Mars and Uranus conjunction. So that chord, all those chords are being held, and they help a certain sound come through this symphony of life, whatever it is playing through, right? For all of us at different levels, it means something different for all of us depending on what's in your natal chart, and that determines how it's affecting you, and how you are working through these energies determines how it's affecting you. So what we find now is a chord that's really being looked at right now. So that's just to explain what's coming, what's strumming through from those past few months. So I want to zero in now and look at just the chord that was struck for the last conjunction, which is Mars and Uranus. So that chord is being held as Mars and Uranus are at that conjunction, right? Let's say the two of them here, we're just talking about those two, are being held, right? Not the entire conjunction, but we're looking at them separately. So those two are being held. And while those two are being held, this was the conjunction at 26 degrees that gave us that number of 8 that showed that we're unlocking something out of that infinite loop. And so while that is held, we continue on, and that resounds as we move forward. And we reach to the point of Leo. And once once the sun hits Leo, that's it being played on another, how would you say, it's just getting played on another, I don't want to say field, the word is not coming to me now. I'm not really a musician, y'all. I don't even know why I'm using this. This is how it came to me, because it's not like I'm a musician that understands chords and other musical words and language. But this is how it's coming to me. So that is held, and when we hit into Leo, it's like another song is activated, if that makes sense. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It's like another song is activated, and at that moment when we hit Leo, the Mars and Uranus is holding that chord. But as we go in, it's Mars chord. Mars is getting like lifted up, and but the speak to me, spirit. Mars is getting lifted up, and Uranus is still holding that chord. So I say that to say this: right now, Uranus is still holding that chord. So for some of you, when you look into your chart, when you look back at it, right? When you look back at it, you're gonna see Uranus is still parallel. If that was what it said originally, you may have saw Mars and Uranus parallel, but right now you may only see Uranus as being parallel, depending on how it shows up in your chart, because the parallel is whatever it was in your natal chart paralleled to where it is currently. That's what they're looking at, to see if there were paralleled aspects from your natal parallel to now. So meaning that as Uranus is, I'm going to use Uranus since it's still there. It's an easier example. Since Uranus is still there, Uranus is parallel to Leo right now, as well as in your natal chart, Uranus may have been in a position where it was parallel to Leo when you were born. That's the parallel. That's why when you looked at Sun in Leo, it said in the Sun of Leo, it's also stipulating you have some parallels here. Parallel Mars, parallel Uranus. Some people may have other parallels, but I'm speaking to those who have these particular two parallels, because that is the message that's coming through with those angles of light, right? Those are the ones that have to do with the Mars-Uranus conjunction. The passionate initiative plus the revolutionary change. Those are the ones that are getting the twinkle, twinkle, you know, as I explained it to someone earlier. I was like, it's like this is coming in right now through the activation of the sun in Leo. And as it activates, it's like all those who have this parallel in their chart are like twinkling little stars. Like all the stars are lighting up. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. You twinkling over here, you twinkling over there. Because some of us have it in different places, which is what I want to explain to you right now, how to know. Because I was getting that question a lot. You know, how do I know? You know, here's my chart. How do I know? And I get it. It's confusing. It was confusing to me too, so I get it. As much as I can clear it up for you, I would gladly do that. So 1999 on the timer. As soon as I saw that, 999. Spiritual completion 3 times. All right, behind the 1. That's the message. Spiritual completion 3 times behind the 1. The unity. All right. So with that, let me explain what you're going to be looking at to see if you are parallel, if you're aligned in this type of alignment, and your parallel is to now. And just like I said about the Uranus, it's the same thing with the Mars. So where the Mars was in Taurus, and where the Mars was in Taurus, it was too in an aspect to Leo, which is squared. Both of them, as they were in Taurus, were squared to Leo. Am I saying that right? Yeah, squared to Leo. So if you had anything in your natal chart where your Mars was squared to Leo, it's the same thing, right? Squared or trined or maybe even sextile. Then I have to look more into the sextile. It is an aspect, but I'm not sure if it counts totally in this alignment, in this particular alignment. So I'm going to give you some of what those may be, what to look out for, right? So if your Mars is in Leo, this is regarding the Mars, because remember, it's about Leo, it's about Sun activating the Leo. So if your natal Mars is in Leo or in aspect to Leo, meaning if it was square, trine, or sextile, if it has any aspect to that. So simply put, right? Because some people are like, aspects, what am I looking at? Make it this simple. If you look in your chart and you see where your Mars is either in Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, or Aquarius, then it is paralleled. It was paralleled. It was a paralleled aspect, right? Especially at the time that I got this message. Right now, Mars has shifted. Mars is in Gemini. At the time that I got this message, I believe Mars was really still at the end of Taurus. So if yours were in your Mars, let me say that again. If your Mars was in Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, or Aquarius, then it was squared and it had that aspect. So you were parallel that, right? You parallel that chart. If your Mars was in Sagittarius or Aries, you're also an aspect because you were trined. Your parallel was trined to Leo. If it is in Gemini or Libra, your Mars was sextile to this sign, which right now, currently, we're having a strong aspect of the Sun being in sextile to Mars, because Mars is in Gemini right now. So it works, and these energies, it works tightly with you the more it is exact to where, let me see how I can say it, the more it is exact to where the current chart is right now. So what does that mean? If your Mars is in Gemini, if your natal Mars is in Gemini, and your natal Uranus is in Taurus, it is working exactly like that parallel right now. It's like an exact parallel. Your natal chart is an exact parallel to the current chart today, right? While the Sun is activating this in Leo, right? So that's just that example. If it's that exact. Uranus, let's look at Uranus. Uranus, very similar. It's actually the same signs, but this is just looking for where your Uranus is. So I told you about the Mars. If you look in your chart, and if your Uranus is in Leo or in any aspect, like I just said about Mars, it's the same thing. So if your Uranus was in Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, or Aquarius, it was squared, it had an aspect. If your Uranus was in Sagittarius or Aries, it was trine. And trine by meaning that it shared an element, right? Squared means it shared a quality. The 4 quality. It shared a quality of either being cardinal, fixed, or mutable. Trine means it shared an element, one of the 4 elements: fire, earth, wind, water. In this case, it happens to be fire. And if it was in Gemini or Libra, then it was sextile. which means it was in one of the air signs, right? And it has to be one of those two air signs, because a sextile is basically being 60 degrees, right? So with that said, that gives you a clue. So for those of you who hear this, like, is this for me? Just kind of look and see if it is in any placements. If your Mars or Uranus is in any of these natal placements that I just mentioned, which is Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Taurus, Sagittarius, Aries, Libra, and Gemini. Those are aspects. Now there's other aspects, but these are the ones that have been highlighted, that from what people have shown me and what I've seen even in my own chart. That's how I found it, by the way. I found it in my own chart. I just happened to be looking on, and I don't go, to be honest, I don't usually go and look at the current chart for the day. And something just said, go look at the current chart for the day. And I looked up Leo. I went to Sun in Leo. And I was like, oh, okay, we just touched Leo. That's nice to know. And then I looked at the bottom and saw parallel Mars and Uranus. And it's like, okay, Spirit, here we go. Like, I already know it was taking me to show me something. And as soon as it was revealed to me, I knew that I had to share what was needed to be shared and get it to those who are willing to hear, to make the call. Because that's usually what I do. I make the call when something is shown up for me. I don't hesitate. I don't hoard information. I don't hesitate. As soon as Spirit shows it to me, I go and say, hey, let's go. This is what I don't like, the non-movement. We are in a forward movement into the fifth dimension. We need our people who are 5D pioneers to make the call when something is happening. Make the call the people together that need to be called together. Do what needs to be done. Do the assignment that needs to be done at that moment, which right now, this is really an assignment for not only individual soul evolution, but it is for this particular group who are really like fire started, like they fired up and ready, is what Spirit was showing me. These group of people are fired up and ready by the way they have gotten through things in their life right now. I can guarantee you, all of those who have this placement in their chart, you are ready and willing. You're fired up. You're ready to take that initiative and have a radical change, and you're feeling it turning over in you. Even if you've never heard of none of this before, you're feeling that shift. Something is definitely shifting you, moving you, and you're feeling that call, and you're feeling that fire. You're being fueled by that fire right now with the sun in Leo that is really twinkling the stars, and those angles of light are really coming through and speaking to what the next step is. So this is for that group of people to get into alignment. It's like, light warriors, let's go. Get to your battle station. Get to your stations. So it's individual as well as there is a collective work to be done. There's a lighthouse, either a lighthouse community or what I call light colonies that are coming online on the light grid. This is one of those lighthouses or groups that you can say. So that's the work, and it's going to be different for everybody. But just sharing that with you to kind of clarify, what is this? What is this parallel, this Mars and Uranus parallel? So simply put, it's the parallel that is stemming from the Mars and Uranus conjunction. That chord that was played is resonating out, and now this is what is coming from that conjunction. This is something that is catapulting us to the next level of our soul selves, whatever that that awaits us. You're ready. We're ready. It is time. As someone said to me, I was told it is time. Yes, it is time. As the angles of light align, it is time, and our souls incline in all that is divine. Ashe, ashe. So let's go, bodies of light warriors, light warriors. Let's get into this activation. This is a different level of light grid activation. It's what I call local work on the light grid, in our local part of the light grid, so to speak, because you have different people in different places working on the light grid. I'm not the only group. I know I'm not the only one. There's other light colonies out there that are working on a light grid, but it is time to take that next step forward, especially during this very pivotal, high energetic season, month, all of that, right? So let's get it cracking. Let's get it started. So I want to thank you again for those of you who allowed us to add it to the channel, who are welcoming coming into the channel, being a part of this Soul Tribe family, being a part of the sojourners of truth that we are, and ready to level up in our souls. This the people I'm talking to, the level ups, right? No stagnation. But thank you for getting us to 900 and continuing. We're going to get to that 1,000 so that we can be on a live basis, communication. With that, any reminders would be, if you've made it this far, once again, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare, leave emojis if it resonated and you don't know what to say. Just leave a couple of emojis, leave some stars to say you lighten up, on the light grid, some hearts, whatever it is that resonates with you from this message. And also, don't forget the 5D calendars. Remember, you can pick them up at a 5D corner near you. Just look in the link, look in the description below. If you don't see it here, you'll see it in the previous one. And yeah, I look forward to you guys enjoying your calendars. To you light ones, see, I said you guys again. To you light bodies, you beautiful souls, you infinite souls, enjoying the 5D calendar, which is also helping us get off of this light grid, right? Get off of this not light grid, excuse me. We need to be on the light grid. Let me fix that up. We need to be on the light grid. It's helping us get off their timeline, right? Of that Gregorian calendar, and that timeline that has people in an infinite lock. And that is something else to look into because of the number 8. It has us 8 years ahead of where we really are. Only the Ethiopian calendar has it where it's 2016, because 2020 was the real 2012 according to Ethiopia and the Mayan calendar. So know that the Gregorian calendar has set everybody off by 8 years. That's no coincidence. We are in an 8-year infinite lock, and the only way to come out is to take the initiative to have a radical change. Mars and Uranus, and that's why these are the light groups right now that are going to lead the way through the radical change. So we need y'all to really come online if this is your parallel and your soul's design. And with that said, I'm going to leave that right there. Love you all. You're all positive vibrations in my heart. I can feel the reciprocity of the energy. It's a beautiful thing. And each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart, right? Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.